Today I want to go over how to use my leather conditioner. And a couple days ago I discovered a couple of other uses that I never would have even dreamed of. It was kind of like the proverbial light bulb moment. I make this stuff available in these tins. It's about 2 ounces of material, and there's only 4 ingredients in here: beeswax, coconut oil, mineral oil, and olive oil. And it is 100% food safe. I also make it available in these chapstick tubes. This is great for on the go, for hunting, hiking, camping, and things like that. I also use this stuff on my hands and on my lips. It's a great skin protectant and moisturizer. Now, so those are what I make and have available. Now, when I do make this stuff and pour it into tins, I always end up with a little bit that's left over. And I pour the leftover in little molds. So this is what I end up using for myself. Now, some uses of it is you can condition your micarta with it. You just rub a little bit on and rub it in, and you'll see the difference in color. It'll darken it up, help it to look more even. It'll keep your micarta in really nice shape. So that's one use. Another use is on your leather products. Simply apply a little bit, rub it in, and I'll place it under a lamp with a light bulb to get some heat on it so that the wax soaks in. It's actually good if you throw this on the dashboard of your car for a little while before you even apply the conditioner. Having it preheated is good. And don't forget to rub it in the edges too. Okay, another use. You can use this on your wood handles, or actually anything made of wood. And it'll put a coat of oil and wax to help waterproof it and maintain it and keep your wood beautiful. And then one more use is to put a thin coat on your carbon steel blades. This will protect them from rust, especially if you're out on the camping trip. So you can treat your leather sheaths, and what's good about treating your leather sheaths, you want to do it with a food safe product, because what you put on your leather can end up on your knife and then end up in your food. All your leather goods, your micartas, carbon steels. Another thing that I make is my own concealed carry holsters. These holsters are extremely heavy duty. I made this one in the fall before COVID, so that's about 3 years now. See, this is 12-ounce leather. This is very, very thick, very heavy-duty stuff. It's a tooling leather. It's not the normal soft stuff. I use thicker Kydex than what other companies use, and I make these clips myself too. Everything is smooth hardware on the back, so it's comfortable. And I leave about a 1/4 of an inch gap, and I use rubber in here so you can tighten or loosen these screws and you can adjust the tension on these. Besides having your normal retention points, which you can adjust those by heating up with a heat gun and pushing in a little bit more. So I've never found a product that I liked and that met my standards and did what I wanted, so I decided to make my own. But as you can see on the back of here, this needs a little bit of conditioner. So it's another great use of this product. Also, because of the beeswax in here, it will give a measure of waterproofing to the leather. So again, I'll just rub this in, and I made these so you can very easily take it all apart, take all the screws out, take all the hardware off. Then you can heat up this leather before you apply the beeswax. That's the best thing to do. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it apart, and I'll place it underneath a light bulb. Like I said before, the dashboard of your car works great, but as it's getting to be wintertime here and it's cloudy and rainy almost every day, that no longer works. Just remember, with your leather products, leather is skin. So if you apply heat to leather, if it's going to burn your skin or hurt you, it's not going to be good for the leather either. And of course, Kydex is a heat formable plastic, so you want to make sure you take the Kydex off your holsters before you apply heat. And now to the light bulb moment that I had. One of the problems that I have always had is with some of these modern slip joints. The springs are really stiff, and any kind of oil that you put in there, it gets squeezed out in short order, and then leaving the knife starved for lubrication again. I've been thinking about different types of grease to use, because grease is made to bear a load, so grease will not be displaced nearly as easily when there is a load and there is friction, and that's what the springs do. This is one of the new Lake Champlain Barlows. These knives are just truly excellent. I've had some Jack Wolves, and this is actually better. So if you've been wondering how these are better. They're very thin behind the edge. They come just as thin as a Jack Wolf. These are M390 steel, and I would challenge you to be able to even tell the difference between the M390, how it's heat treated here, and how Jack Wolf treats the S90V. You won't be able to tell any difference in performance. And if anything, watching some cut tests online, this may even be a little bit better. But the problem with this knife is when I opened and closed it, it felt like there was sandpaper in the pivot. It was really gritty. You could tell this knife was starved for lubrication. So I had the idea. I had been putting some conditioner on some leather products, and I was thinking about it. And what is the conditioner? It's beeswax, which wax is a lubricant, and oils, natural oils. Why not give it a try? So I took a sliver of wood and I applied some of the wax on all of the flat surfaces where the knife will rub. And as you can see, there's no more gritty sound. There's no more gritty feeling. You could actually hear it. This knife has been running beautifully ever since I put the wax on there. So that was the first discovery, that this stuff actually will work to lubricate a knife pivot. Now you can't get this down in the side, so you're still going to have to use an oil first. Now this knife has phosphor bronze washers, so you'd use a little bit of oil and put a drop on each side to get down in by the washers, and then put the wax on the flats and work it in. It stays put. It's worked great. This knife runs smooth. So not only is this useful for slip joint knives, but I had another light bulb moment. This is my concealed carry firearm, and this was in need of a cleaning this morning. So I took it apart and I blew it all out with the air compressor, and now I need to grease it and put it back together. Well, I figured I would try using this. The product that I have always used is called Frog Lube. I've used that for many years. It's an FDA approved product. It's safe to eat. Not that you would want to eat it, but it's green in color. So you would not want to put that on your knives that you're going to put in the sheath or cover leather with it. Who wants to use a product that's green? It does have a mint smell. This has a slight amber. This batch is a little bit lighter than some of the other batches. The color varies a little bit depending on the exact color of the beeswax that I have at the moment. So, but this is a wax that holds 3 different oils in place. So that's going to be very similar to what Frog Lube actually is. I don't have a list of ingredients for it, but when you use oil, regular petroleum-based oil, that attracts dirt and attracts dust. This does not. So I'm going to try this as a lubricant on the slide. Because when you think about it, it's the wax, which is slippery, and then 3 different natural types of oil, which all lubricate. And the wax helps hold everything in place. So I'm going to lube this up. Just going to get a little bit on my fingers and rub it over the barrel. I want to make sure I get a little bit in the lugs. I also want to put a little bit on any areas where there's any rubbing that goes on. See, like in here, you can see a wear spot. If there's a spot where finish is wearing, that's a good spot for a little bit of lube. Gotta get some on my pinky so that I can actually get down in there. Okay. Then we need to get some on these channels. So this is a little hard to do in the camera because I have to look to the side so that I can see what I'm doing. Just like to smear a little in there. Okay. And you can just rub this in your skin because this is wonderful stuff. Now I put a little bit on these rails here. Down in the grooves. Sorry, like I said, it's a little hard to stay in frame. And then here you still put a drop of a liquid-based lube. Just a little bit on the spring. Now I gotta rub it in my hands because my hands will be a little bit slippery. And we'll reassemble. That feels nice. And you can even rub a little bit on the outside. This is stainless steel, but especially if you have a blued gun, which is a steel that'll rust, rubbing a little bit of this on will protect it. So there's yet another use of this stuff. And I've just found it amazing. So whether it's lubricating the knife pivot, conditioning the micarta, conditioning wood, putting some on your carbon steel blades to prevent rust, taking care of your knife sheaths, your slips, or your hands and your lips. Just a phenomenal product. And I know I've sent some of my conditioner out to a bunch of you guys. I would just say, give it a try. Do some of your knife pivots with it. Try it on the firearm and let me know how it goes and what you think of it.